Hey, what's up, Stringlings? Today we're going to take a little bit of a departure from talking about guitar gear, and we're going to take a look at this guy, the Balmy Drum. Let's check it out. So this is a little bit strange, but I do dabble in folk instruments from time to time, and we do some meditation work as well here in the studio. So, I thought I would reach out to Balmy and see what the hype was with this particular instrument. Now, the Balmy Drum is a tongue drum, which means that it is basically two layers of steel with the top layer cut into tongues, and each of these tongues produces a tone, just like that. Now, this drum is their 14-inch model. This is sort of their elite model. I think they call it the Grand Harmony. And it's a 14-inch drum. It has 15 notes. The lowest note is an E. The highest note is an E 2 octaves above, but we're in the key of C major. So it's a C scale from E to E. If you're a theory wonk like me, that means that it's actually an E Phrygian scale, but nobody cares about that kind of thing. But it does mean that you can cover a lot of music with this particular unit, and honestly, it sounds really fantastic. We're going to get into a little sound demo shortly, but I just want to go through quickly what you get in this package, and then we'll talk about the drum itself. So in this package, of course, you get the drum. It comes with this really cool macrame wrap, which I kind of like a lot because, I'm trying to figure out how to hang it, but I think it will hang. I think it'll hang nicely like that on the wall, just to, take up a little bit less space. In the base of the drum, there's a hole that you can see there, sort of like a sound hole. So it does have a plug, but I don't find that this plug makes a big difference in terms of the volume. I'm not really sure what its function is because the thing resonates quite nicely without this plug in it. And it does come with a carrying bag as well. Actually very high quality carrying bag. Sort of a canvas feel. And it fits all of your stuff in it. Among the odds and ends, I have my feet up on a little box down here so that I can support the drum more comfortably. This particular model comes with a songbook, which is very cool. As you may have noticed, I'll come in closer here, there are little numbers and colored number stickers, color-coded number stickers you can apply to give you each note. So you're not reading music necessarily, you're reading notes. And that's exactly what happens here inside the book. Come a little bit closer to maybe this camera, right? You can see there are 60 songs in here, and some of them are just kind of well-known folk songs. Some of them are a little bit more classic, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, You Are My Sunshine, that kind of thing. And then there's some Ed Sheeran in here, there's Game of Thrones, these kinds of things. So a lot of music in here, 60 songs. And they break down the length of the note. Go here again. The rhythm is broken down by the length of the bar representing different rhythms of notes themselves. It's actually a really cool system and very much worth checking out. I think it's safe to say this is designed with a beginner player in mind, and they want you to get playing music quickly, and that's really key with these drums. Now, again, this is the largest of, I think, 3 models that they have. So they do have child-sized drums as well that only have, a few notes versus all 15 for this kind of 2-octave rig. Also included is a little bag of stuff, right? So you do get mallets with a little stand. So these are the rubber mallets that you would normally use to play it. As well as there's a cleaning cloth in here, some extra feet in case some get lost. And then these things, which are kind of cool, my crinkling, which are like finger mallets. So they actually go right on your finger like that. So you can put them on all of your fingers and play just with your hands as if you were playing a handpan, which is a distinction we're going to get into in a little bit as well. So cleaning cloth, basically all the gear you need to get started, make it portable, make it usable. The whole name of the game here is to get you playing music as quickly as possible. And this is what it sounds like. Oh, it does have a little quick start guide as well, which I never actually looked at, but it's in there. So this is what it sounds like. So this would be middle C on the scale. Okay. You can hear that coming through this microphone. I'm going to see what it sounds like coming off of the camera mics as well. So I don't have it mic'd up directly underneath, but it's got quite a bit of volume. Okay, so the notes ring kind of in the same way that they would on the cantilé. You want the notes to ring a bit. I'm actually looking at my waveform, and it's coming out very, very loud on the waveform just with that little bit of action that I was doing there. So there might be some editing involved here. We'll see how that goes in the video cut. But the point of this instrument, in addition to being, I'm actually put this cup in, and we'll see if it makes a difference. The point of this instrument, apart from being just a really great way to get people into music, into playing music sort of as quickly as possible. Let's just see how that works. Yeah, that one really resonates, eh? Wow. It's interesting. I'm just looking at the waveforms, and these come really, really hot. I know they're close to the microphone, but it's not turned up that loud. So maybe I'll have to dial it back a little bit. Anyway, what I was going to say is the point of this instrument is to get people into playing music fairly quickly with not very much resistance. And I think it does a good job of that. It gives you a lot of guidelines on here, and it's fairly easy to play. The main thing you need to keep in mind is that the notes aren't organized in order the way you would with a keyboard, right? So they're not, one after the other. So if one is C, which it is here, 1, 2, 3, where's 4? You have to kind of look for it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So you have to learn the spacing of the notes a little bit, because they're not immediately apparent the way they would be laid out on a keyboard or on a guitar. But at the same time, you have some really cool note combinations if you just want to improvise, which is kind of one of my things. Or you can get these back and forth combos going. So you're outlining kind of strange modal type harmonies. It's a very, very cool instrument, and really doesn't take a lot to learn the ins and outs of it. Again, you can go through the songbook. There's a ton of material in there. Learn them, play them nicely, play them well if you want, or just move on to the next song, or just play things by ear. Very, very simple instrument to pick up and to learn. And again, you want to use the rubber ends. It sounds a little bit clangy. Might have a cool effect, but not something you want to meditate to. You have the meditation effect right here. So, and this is just me randomly hitting notes, but even at that, it's quite calming. So, in terms of meditation, if you wanted to, I don't know what that was. In terms of meditation, if you wanted to just improvise a little bit and just kind of zone out to it. That's what I do with the cantilé quite a bit, and I'll even do it with the classical guitar. Sometimes even with an electric, just playing through chord patterns and just letting the improvisation flow. It's just kind of a cool way to mellow out and just feel a little bit of music. So that's the ins and outs of the instrument. I want to get into some of the details about it now. Okay, so this instrument that I have on my lap right now retails according to the Balmy Drum website, and they have two websites, balmydrum.com and thebalmydrum.com, and they're virtually identical in terms of content. They are the same company. It says that it retails for $918 Canadian, but is on sale for $367 Canadian. So that's a big discount. That's like 60% discount. Okay. Now, why I'm bringing that up at this point is because it's worth noting that in the few months that I've had this instrument and I've been checking it out, and we've been going back and forth on some of these things a little bit, the website has not changed their messaging from this being their biggest sale and that it's about to end in a few days. So if the sale's going to end in a few days and it's been a few months, it kind of raises a flag to me that this is actually the price is $367. I don't know, I don't want to jump on their thing, but if it's always on sale, isn't that just the price? That's kind of my thought on it. So generally speaking, when you see that, something is always on sale for that price, that's probably the actual retail price for it. And there are, in the US, I know there are some rules about how you label things as being on sale. If you constantly represent them as being marked down and you never have them at the original price, it's fair to assume that what you're doing is you're kind of fudging the numbers a little bit just to make it look like it's on sale. It's 367 Canadian dollars. That's what it is. They did tell me in our initial contact that it was valued at $700 US, which is about 918 Canadian-ish, something like that, depending on when you set the exchange rate. Now, looking around, I checked on Amazon in Canada and the US, and it doesn't look like this model is currently in stock. It looks like it's sold out, actually. But as I recall, it was actually on the Amazon US website for about 370 or 385 or something Canadian. So we're still in that same price range on their Amazon listing, again, which tells me that that's just what the price is. The 11-tone model, which is the next model down from this, is on their website for 191 Canadian dollars, which they say is marked down. It's on sale. Regular price is 423 Canadian dollars, but that one is available on Amazon in the US for 185 plus $58 in shipping. So again, that kind of gives you an idea of where they price it. What's on Amazon is probably more likely what they mean the price to be. They're just kind of saying that it's a higher price. Now, why does that matter? Well, it doesn't. That's just what the price is. So, but bear in mind that it may not actually be on sale. That may just be the price. There is a fruit fly buzzing across the screen. Now, when I'm looking at the company, I always like to see where companies are based. It kind of gives you an idea, if there's something similar from that area. And the company itself is based in Turkey. So it's a Turkish company, but the instruments are manufactured and shipped from China. So this did take a couple of weeks to get to me because it was coming from China and not from Canada or the US. So it was direct from China. And it isn't really that surprising because when you look up tongue drums or Balmy Drum on Amazon, you get a lot of different models, and in some cases almost identical, slightly different designs on the tongues because you can order different designs, of course, from China. And they're all listed at anywhere from about $85 to $150 Canadian. And this one then listing at about $370 Canadian. Bailey's come to visit. Hey, baby. This one listed at $370 Canadian is a huge leap in terms of price. Now, to be fair, I don't have any of those other instruments to compare to this one. Okay, so I can't attest to any differences in sound quality or tone or intonation or anything like that. I just know this one lists much more expensive than other models that look almost identical and include a lot of the same things: songbooks, mallets, finger mallets, carrying cases, like bags, that kind of thing. So they've all got that equipment in there. So for comparison's sake, maybe one of these days I'll get one of the cheaper models and we'll just do a little side by side. Just to, again, give you an idea, I mean, the difference between a drum that's around $100 Canadian and one that's pushing $1,000 Canadian, they should be pretty significant differences between those two instruments, right? Like those should be like drastically different. And just to give you an idea what the market looks like, I looked at the Sound Healing Instrument Shop in Beamsville, Ontario, and they sell Ravvast tongue drums, which, if you don't know, Ravvast is kind of the industry standard. Like, they are the top dogs in this type of instrument design. They're based in Russia, and their instruments, their tongue drums, are selling at between around $1,200 and $1,300 Canadian. So this one is, pushing it. The claim is that this one is pushing into that category of instrument. Again, I don't have a Rav here, so I can't give you a direct comparison, but use your judgment when you're comparison shopping. It's sort of important. And along those same lines, I do want to point out that Balmy likes to use the word, not just Balmy, they all do, use the word handpan in their marketing and in their headlines and stuff, because it's a keyword. Handpan drums are very, very popular. You remember the hang drum or the alien drum? But that's a different thing. That is a specially molded drum with notes hammered into it that you play with your hand. This is not that. Okay, this has the notes cut out of it. And in fact, these are made from propane tanks. They're made from recycled propane tanks. This thing keeps slipping off because I didn't tighten it. Which is, I think, a valid use of that material if you're into sustainability like I am. So it isn't a specialized type of steel. It's literally a propane tank that's been reshaped and then cut. And that's not a strange thing at all, right? Steel drums from Jamaica, for example, are hammered out of old oil barrels. And that's totally fine because, my main rule in music, if it sounds good, it is good. And this does sound good. Now, there are some intonation issues. I have another video up. Maybe I'll put in a little bit of a clip. But the main thing is that it doesn't go out of tune once it's tuned. It's a piece of hardened steel, right? But it has to be intonated properly in the first place. There's been a little bit of a back and forth because to me it does on occasion sound out of tune. There's a little section here on tuning your Balmy drum. You can see it's right there. Right, so there are ways to tune it, but importantly, when I put a tuner on it, you can see some of the notes are flat, some of them are sharp. And these are mainly fundamentals, right? So there's not a lot of overtone series. What does end up happening is, on the lower notes especially, when they're struck, other notes around it resonate at the same time. Which is nice because you get a little bit of a bell tone, but at the same time it can make things a little bit muddy in that register. And the way around that, of course, is to mute it. Hear this note and these ones, right? And that's going to happen. There's going to be sympathetic vibrations between things. The upper notes in the second octave are much, much clearer. And the highest register from the second octave up, they don't ring as well, but they're not as big, so they don't have as much tongue to vibrate. So those are kind of things. If you're really, really fussy about intonation, this isn't probably not the instrument you want to go with anyway, because they have that sympathetic vibration, and there's going to be some dissonance in the sounds. If you are looking for that kind of exotic kind of metal drum sound, it's actually really good. Okay, so overall, my view is yes, an excellent, well-constructed instrument. I think it's priced strangely. They'll set whatever their policy is going to be, but I don't know that that's necessarily the way I would do it. I would just call it the price that it is and be done with it. But construction-wise, book-wise, there's a lot going on here that's really worth it. And I think if you can keep an eye out for a sale that's an actual sale, this would be a good buy. It is a very attractive instrument, of course. My kids love playing with it. And again, I use it. Sometimes I just sit on the deck and I just drum just to kind of zone out to the music. So that is all there is on the Balmy Drum. Links to their website and whatever I can find on Amazon will be down in the description. And there are a couple other videos of the unboxing and of my intonation test that you can check out. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like this kind of content, please remember to like and subscribe, and don't forget that memberships are available. Those memberships help to fund the production and promotion of these videos, so by all means, please consider becoming a member, and hopefully we're going to have some more of this kind of interesting variation on a theme of musical instruments moving forward. And I hope that you have yourselves a great back to school season, and I will talk to you again very soon.